Well, hey guys, thanks for joining me. As you can probably tell, today's going to be a little bit different than what you're used to. Decided to do something a little bit different than what I normally do, and that is I have a special treat for you guys. And what is this special treat? A couple weeks ago, I was asked to be a guest on the Bass and Brews podcast, which is a podcast about fishing, which I'm going to be totally honest, I didn't even know there was podcasts about fishing, and I was kind of nervous about going on it because I didn't really know what to expect. But went on there, had a good time with Paul Heels and Cody from Lockwood Fishing. We got to discuss a lot of very pertinent issues like content creation and how I got my start in YouTubing and my Tinder date tragedies. I mean, we cover a wide gamut of things on this podcast. What I did was, I think the actual podcast was probably close to 2 hours. I mean, hour and a half, 2 hours. What I did was I kind of condensed it down into 15 minutes or so, and just kind of put some of it in there so you can just get a sense of what it's about. If you'd like to know anything about, if you'd like to see the full video, I'm going to leave a link to that down in the description box. But that's enough of me talking. Let's drop in on the Bass and Brews podcast.
Mr. Woo-Doo, Cody Lockwood Fishing. What's up, Cody?
What's up, Mr. Heels? Mr. Heels?
Man, I'm rolling along. Our guest tonight is Mr. Josh Myers from Abide Fishing on YouTube. What's up, Josh?
How you guys doing?
Good.
Man, I gotta say, I was lured in here. I thought I had a chance of like meeting Cupcake. That was like the whole reason that I came here.
Look.
What a shocking surprise from that.
It is a shocking sentence, I'll tell you that.
Well, we got the closest thing to Cupcake that we could find in Lockwood.
Josh is going, I feel a little sick, boys.
I mean, he does have some long flowing locks.
Hey, bakers can't be choosers.
The hardest part for people to start in content creation is starting. And you jumped into this. It was a show from the beginning. So, like, tell us this process to why you just want to start recording it and letting everybody see.
Okay, well, I'll give you a little bit of background. Like, when I was a kid, I would go fishing a lot. I mean, there's a little pond by my house, and that's what I would do. I just walk down to the pond and fish, and I really enjoyed it. However, as you get older and, hormones kick in, as soon as I found girls, like the fishing went out the window. So I lost like interest in fishing basically until after college. And so I didn't fish at all during that time. And
What college?
I went to Winthrop.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Eagles.
Yeah. Big stuff. So I went and bought a bass boat just like on a whim, but it was a fixer-upper. I knew it was going to be a fixer-upper. However, it was like, I just called it the Black Pearl because the thing was cursed. It didn't matter. I could get it running perfectly on land, but then as soon as it hit water, it just broke down like every single time. I spent more time fixing the boat than I ever did fishing on the boat. And so I was like, this is just not for me. I ended up giving that boat away just because I was just tired of looking at it. So I went for a couple more years, didn't do any fishing. And then I was like, you know what? I saw, the kayak community start up. And I was like, that's something I can get behind. And so that's when I bought the kayak and started kayak fishing. As far as the actual YouTube channel, the whole reason I got into it is I started kayak fishing the places that I knew, like which Lake Wiley, Nivens Creek, basically all the big bodies of water. And I would go out on Nivens Creek, but I would go out there like in the summer, and there's a point that's really, really narrow. And I had just a flat out near death experience where some pleasure boater came around the corner, about hit me. Even if he didn't hit me, I about ate it, just being in the boat. And I was like, you know what? This is not for me.
like coming out on these heavily trafficked bodies of water during the summer, it's not for me, and it's not for somebody that's in a kayak. So I started looking for information. Where can I put in a kayak? Just on the internet. And I found that there's like not really any good information about. You would think in the age of the internet that there would be people that do this kind of stuff all the time, and there just wasn't. You could go to like South Carolina DNR's website, and they have like a list of ponds that you could put in a kayak in, but there's like there's no address. There's one little picture that is 15 years old, so you never know what to expect when you get there. So the reason I started my channel is I want my channel to be a one-stop shop for, if you want to find a place to fish, a public place to fish in North and South Carolina, you go there and you can find how to get there, like a valid address, what the boat ramp looks like, and then what the fishing is like when you get there. So that was the whole reason I got into it. I was like, hey, I'll just document me trying to find out all these different places. And I started creating the content that I was looking for.
For most out of the videos, the people that I watch, there's a lot of them out there, but you embrace that what the side of kayak fishing of all the that other people, they're catching 6-pounders. They're not showing when they casted and their rod wrapped around the rod behind them and slung it out in the water, or they drop into they cut off, they go to cut their little tag off and they cut their spinner bait and chuck it out into water. But you show that, and that's what caught my attention. It was fun, man. I felt like it was real.
Well, it's definitely real. And something else that I've really consciously tried to do is I want everything that I do, every video that I make, I want it to be, replicable. I want anybody to be able to do that, because it kind of gets discouraging. Like when you watch some of these, these YouTube channels, and they have, they're fishing stocked farm ponds and catching these, giants. Every now and then I will luck into something, but again, I'm not into some secret spot. I'm not fishing with high dollar gear. I have like ugly sticks. I have my Black Maxes. I'm in a kayak, and I'm fishing all public places. I tell you where I'm going and what I'm fishing with. The whole point of my thing is you don't need good gear. You don't have to be that good to every now and then catch. The key is you got to actually be on the water, and that's the only way you're going to catch fish is being on the water and just doing it. And something that I wasn't expecting in doing this is I wasn't expecting all the kids. Like, there's a lot of kids that watch my channel, and I just wasn't really like considering it being in that demographic, but kids love it. And I was like, you know what? I don't want a kid. I was just thinking about like me when I was younger, thinking that, I'd have to get, all this, $400 or $500 gear in order to catch fish, when really you don't. You can go to Walmart and buy a decent $60-$70 rod and reel combo. You can catch fish on that. You can catch fish on the Walmart Ozark Trail Lure. You can catch fish on everything. You just got to be out there doing it.
All right. So what are the other little nuances about your channel, Josh, that you put in there because it wasn't something that you saw was happening in other YouTube channels?
Honestly, I don't watch that many YouTube channels. I really don't. And I do that intentionally because it's like I would watch some, and it's, not to knock any particular credit, but like everybody does want to, like, the MTB box opening and trying to do like a slam. There's certain formats that like everybody does, and I was like, I don't want to get in a position where I'm recreating what I've already seen.
Smart. That's smart, man.
Honestly, the only channels that I watch are like my friends. I watch like Hooksets, Ryan and Hambone, like all the guys that are in the community that have their own channel. I watch all those guys and just be supportive of them. They got good content too, so I watch them. But as far as like the other guys, I really don't. I've often thought like it's weird. Like the kayak community is kind of like broken down into two like groups. I've always felt like kind of like an outsider, really. Not that they're not welcoming, but I've always kind of come at it like a little bit differently, because there's like one group that is like the real hardcore outdoorsmen. They're the ones that hunt and hike and camp and do all of that stuff. I was like, all these guys are like, oh yeah, we're gonna go up to the mountains and go hiking, and I'm like, I don't want to go up there. I I don't even like going upstairs. Like, why would
Just
I
want
want
to fish.
This man just said he don't like going upstairs. He ain't going hiking.
I'm not going hiking. I have no desire. And it's like, oh, we're going to go camping in a tent. And I'm like, I make too much money to sleep on the ground. I have a bed. I don't have any desire to do that. So I don't really fit in with the outdoors crowd. And then there's a second one that's kind of like, and those are the really hardcore, like the tournament anglers, and they like the real competitive. These are the hardcore guys that have all the nicest equipment and the gear, and they take the tournament seriously. And I mean, I fish in the tournaments, but I certainly don't take them that seriously. I want to do good, but I'm not. I will never be at that level because I don't enjoy the tournaments enough to like do the work that's required, especially like the QC guys. Those guys are so good. The top 10 in that club can beat anybody in the country as far as I'm concerned. And they put in the work, and they're good, and that's what they do. And I don't really fit into that group either. I mean, I enjoy doing it. I like going out and goofing off and hanging out with those guys, but I would never do the work that's required to be a tournament angler.
So what it sounds like to me, what you're describing of who you are and what your channel is and what it's about, is you are just the regular ass old average person that wants to go fishing.
Yes.
That's it.
That's it.
It's that simple.
And then she proceeds to tell me, she's like, I know this is not the way I wanted our first date to go. And I was like, oh, no crap. This is not a good date. She goes, I just want you to know I really liked you. We should do this again. I was like, lady, you got so much going on.
No, we shouldn't.
Good luck with that. And I think I ended the date with good luck with all that. And then I walked away.
Hey, did you check your pockets after she hugged you?
Oh, let me tell you. You can't make this stuff up. I mean, it's really.
So, Josh, tell us about you losing. Cody, did you like his Tinder story?
I did.
This right here is going to make you punch holes in your wall. So, Josh, tell us about you losing your favorite jacket.
All right, so this was my work jacket, and I mean, it's not necessarily the most stylish of jackets. It's like that high vis.
It's a big yellow jacket.
It's a big yellow jacket, but it's super warm, and so like I would use it at work and I would use it at home as well. And so, anyways, I was out fishing in my normal clumsiness. Like I was out fishing. Apparently, at some point, it fell off the back. I never see it. Of course, I fished the entire day. I get back. I realized I don't have my jacket, don't know where it is. I had to like review the tape and like go through and find that like my yellow jacket had fallen out. And sure enough, you can see it like disappear into the distance. Thought it was gone. Thought it was
It's
gone.
like Wilson. It's like Wilson. It's like Wilson. It is. Except he didn't know Wilson was floating away.
Yes. So he disappeared off into the sunset. I didn't think anything of it. I was like, all right, I lost my jacket. It is what it is. So the fish that I caught that day, I also have like a FishBrain account. So I just happened to post like the fish that I caught on FishBrain. And then just as a joke, I put down at the bottom, oh, by the way, if anybody sees a high vis jacket floating out in Lake Norman, let me know it's mine. Just as a joke. What do you know? I have a guy message me, hey, I have your jacket. I was like, well, you've got to be kidding. What are the odds? And so I responded, and I was like, dude, you don't understand how much this means to me. I was like, let me know when and where I can come get it. I'll get you a lunch or something. And he then responds, says, it's going to cost a lot more than lunch. And I said, excuse me? And he goes, yeah. Jacket's way more expensive than lunch, bub. And I was like, what? Are you legitimately like holding my jacket ransom now? I was like, because if that's the case, I don't negotiate with terrorists. You can keep the jacket. I don't care. And sure enough, yeah, he ended up taking my jacket, which it was clearly mine. Not only was it mine, and like I had it, how many high vis jackets are floating out there? It actually had my name badge on it with my name and my picture.
Oh, dude.
Look, we want to get you a jacket back here. you let us know. We'll get our sleuth up on the sleuth trail, and we're going to get your jacket back. If he don't want to give it back, then he's going to buy you lunch.
Hey, my appearance on this podcast makes it all worth it. If we can get this jacket back.
All right. We're going to wrap this up, y'all. Thank y'all so much. Josh, do you have anybody you want to shout out? Any sponsors or anybody that you work with or anything like that? And tell us where we can find you on social media.
Just come check me out, Abide Fishing. I'm on all the social medias, even though I don't really know how to use anything other than YouTube. Just Google Abide Fishing. It's on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and whatever the other one is. I guess Twitter. But
ain't no fishing people using Twitter. So
I don't know how to use that either. So, but yeah, just find me on any of the social media. I also, shoot me a message or a comment on the YouTube channel. I do my best. I think I've responded to every comment, so I'm pretty active on that. So if you want to get in touch with me, just reach out and.
Well, wasn't that fun? I actually had a really good time hanging out with those guys. They have a very high quality show over there at the Bass and Brews podcast. So make sure that when you're done with this video, you go give them a like, watch the full video. There's a lot on there. It took me a while to actually, I just want to give you a little preface. It took me a while to edit this video together because I keep my fishing channel pretty G-rated. It's not like it's overly adult, but there's some language in that that's not typically in my videos. And we sip a couple adult beverages while we're there, so it's not overly bad, but it's not the G-rated content that you're used to this channel. But it's very good stuff, and I hope you go give those guys a big like, share, and subscribe on their channel. Again, thanks for watching my video. We'll be back with doing actual legitimate fishing videos next week. And I'll be seeing you then. This is Josh, and this is Abide Fishing.